Hello viewers, it's Super GT here. Welcome to highlights of week 1 of the ESL tournament. So this is a series of 1v1 tournaments. There is prize money on offer if I could get far enough into it. And this is the first race I got into. So we do 3 tracks, the first of which is the Catalunya national circuit, as we can see here, go around the first corner. And we have a series of 1v1s. So you can see the other guy started on pole position. So the guy who's higher up on the leaderboards in the Rivals event during the week gets to start on pole for the first race. I'll start on pole for the second race, and then he'll start on pole for the third race. So he'll get pole twice. That is the reward, I guess, for finishing higher up in the leaderboard. So Catalunya school circuit, or Catalunya national circuit, sorry. We did this event in the Rivals. I was managing to lap in the low 124s, so if we can get anywhere near that, I'll be fairly pleased. Now the guy I'm racing against here is actually the number 4 seed, so he's actually quite high up. He actually qualified with a very good time indeed. So I had my work cut out to try and keep up with him. But I often feel on Forza, or most games in fact, that I am a lot better as a racer than as a hot lapper, so my hot laps aren't always as good. And then when it gets into a race situation, I often do quite a lot better. So that's the end of lap 1. I've actually kept up with him quite well. We're going to fast forward to lap number 3. And as you can see, not really much has changed. It's been a fairly constant race so far. Into the first corner, managed to hook up with a very nice early apex. And then with the late apex, I reckon I gained on him a little bit there. Through the second corner, going for a very tight apex over the grass. If you dip 2 wheels onto the grass, it stays clean. And you can actually hook yourself around very nicely. The chicane coming up here is probably the hardest part on the track, because to really carry the most speed you really do have to get 2 wheels over the lines, and it does stay clean if you just about do that right, and you can keep a lot of momentum through there. Into the hairpin, going down into first gear, carry the speed through onto the exit. You can go onto the AstroTurf slightly there to carry your speed through. Now through this section I seem to be better on the brakes, as you can see. Putting pressure on him as we come into the final sector of the lap, which is around these chicanes, and this is where it all unravelled. Going into the first apex, so going a little bit too hot, and then I wasn't really concentrating, and I just went straight into the tyre wall, which is a totally stupid error to make. As you can see, just grazing the end of the tyre wall, and well, it just completely messed up the race. I've got no chance of winning now unless he does the same, but he doesn't really need to push himself anymore. So in the end, it was a foregone conclusion. I was going to lose doing a 124.9. So that's race number 1. I finished second. So he's 1-0 up on me. First to 2 out of the 3 races. So I'm on pole for this one, starting on pole. Now, going slightly wide here, that actually is clean. So I wasn't really completely sure whether or not you're allowed to do that. So it is registered as a clean in the game, doing that. So into the second corner, braking at the end of the AstroTurf, gets into the apex very nicely. So this is the Hockenheim national circuit. So just like Catalunya, we're not running the full Grand Prix version, we're running the shorter version. So as we go down this curved straight, we aren't going to go to the left here, we're going to go straight on and turn right onto this double apex hairpin, going a little bit deep, but then cutting back for a nice second apex. So information about the car, it's the Audi TT 15 or 2015. Now these ESL tournaments, or this season 2, features pretty much all Audis, or not pretty much, completely all Audis. So the Audi TT is this week's car, or week 1's car. And as you can see, I'm actually pulling away quite nicely. This car actually has decent handling. It didn't feel too bad at all coming around a lot of these corners. It seemed to be planted and very easy to drive. It's in middle of B class. So the week 2's car is the RS6, so quite a lot heavier, slightly faster, but just a lot heavier on the handling. The paint job as well, very kindly done by the ForzaLiveryGuy, and I'll put a link in the description if you want to follow him on Twitter. Give him a follow. He does some awesome paints, and he did this one at very short notice, just pretty much a day, and he just did it for me. So very good job, and I'll show you a nicer angle of the whole thing at the end of the video. So the start of lap 2 actually extending into a nice lead, and remember this is over the number 4 seed in the tournament, or in the Consolation Cup. So for those of you who don't know how it runs, the top 32 go into their own tournament in the Rivals event, so the top 32 will go off into the Elite Cup, and then the next 128 will go into the Consolation Cup, which is what I am in here. So at the start of lap 4 I actually get caught up again. What we just saw just a moment ago on lap 3 was me braking way too early into that hairpin, and I lost a good 100 feet just from braking too early once, and that put me on the back foot for the second half of the race. So as you can see here, we can see his proximity arrow, so once you can see that, you know that he's very close. And then looking on the left hand side, he's less than 40 feet behind, so he is right on my tail. If I can just keep myself cool and stay on the racing line, there's not too much you can do. It's often the case that when you're racing in equal cars and accelerating at roughly the same points, it's very hard for the guy behind to actually pull over and do a nice move unless he really goes for a totally bandit lunge. So as long as I keep my head calm here and don't make too many mistakes, then I have a chance of winning the race. We do have one more lap and one more corner left to go. The final corner is fairly tricky with a curve on the inside and the outside. Just got to make sure you don't extend that one too much and lose time on the grass. So there we go, we crossed the line at the end of lap 4. We've got one more lap left remaining. Going to the first corner, I'm very wide, and that's going to put me on the back foot here going into the second turn. So you're allowed to move over once, and I do move over maybe a little bit too late. He makes contact with me in the back. Into the second turn though, let's see how this one goes. I'm onto the apex quite nicely and getting the accelerator down quite early, but it doesn't transpire to be enough, because as you can see here, he's just going to get the run on the outside. So somehow he managed to get a better run than me, so he's going to get actually fully past before we get to the hairpin. And I was getting a little bit desperate here, so I go for quite a silly move and just totally bundle him out the way, which was a little bit strong. So into the next corner, I was going to move over to the side and just let him go, because I don't really want to win with a stupid move like that. It was a bit too forceful. So I'm going to be quite fair with that one. I let him go back past. I only passed enough so that I still have a chance of passing him back towards the end of the lap. But actually I've left a bit of a gap there, about 80 feet. So I don't really have too much chance of actually capturing the win once again. So we've only got a couple of corners left. And this last sector is actually probably the hardest sector to overtake on this lap. Normally the second corner and the third corner and the hairpin are the best places to overtake around here, so I've actually left it way too late, and it looks like we're going to come round to finish second again. But this is my first experience of proper competitive racing with prizes on offer. I've not really done it much before, one-on-one as well, so it does make it a lot more personal. So I don't think I did too badly, especially against the number 4 seed. So there we go, finishing second in the second race. So that's 2-0 to the other guy, and he's actually officially won. Now I went into the loser bracket, so you still have a chance of qualifying once you go into the loser bracket. I come up against this guy, MSN Ninja, after about 4 races, or after about 4 people being beat, because I come up against lots of other people, but they all basically backed out. So I got through to quite far into the tournament, and then eventually come up to this guy. I lost in the first race at Catalunya. It wasn't too distant though. I was actually fairly close to him in that race. This guy was actually very clean and very good, so it's actually quite tricky to beat him. I messed up this first lap at Hockenheim, so going into the second corner, as you can see, just a bit too wide, and that's going to put me on the back foot in the straight. So I'm still ahead at this point, but it's almost a repeat of what just happened against the number 4 seed in my first race. Sorry. So coming into the hairpin, just spotting my braking point. It's actually very hard to properly get your braking point for this one. As you can see, I'm going a little bit too deep, and he's going to get a run on the outside. Is he just about? He's very close, less than 20 feet between us. As we come into this left-hander, braking a little bit too late. I'm just all over the place at this whole race. And then coming into the right-hander, we're side by side, and he's just going to get the momentum on the outside. I can't really do anything about that. So he's done a very nice move to move up into the lead, and that's pretty much how it's going to finish after the rest of the race. So in the end, I think I was just lacking a little bit of precision. I know I had the pace in the race, and my hot lapping wasn't as good. But in terms of my finishing position and my speed in the races, I wasn't too far off. So I'm hoping in this week's tournament I can actually do a lot better. In the Sunday's Elite Showdown, you'll see a couple of my track guides, so watch out for that in the official Forza stream. They've given me the opportunity to do those videos once again. So look out for me in the official Forza stream on Sunday. And we can have a look here at the car that Forza Livery Guy had made for me. As you can see there, a very nice livery. Very simple but very elegant at the same time. And I'm liking the integration of the channel logo and my name on the number plate area at the back there. So looking very good. So I'm really pleased with that. So thank you again to Forza Livery Guy for that livery. So that's going to bring a close to this video. Please hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of the same. Hit the like button if you did like the video. And I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.